to make a decision.
I'm getting your point. It's not Martha
Koome. Mother kae.
But I'm saying now...
Mother anakula mshahara. Vile wengine wamekuwa wakikula mshahara. Na wengine vile watakuja kukula baada ya Mother. Watakula tu mshahara na ile gari kubwa wanaendeshwa. Na security mzuri. Foreign trips. Accolades wanapata. Wakienda kila mahali wanaheshimiwa. Na watoke waende.
Hello there, welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jada Kabir. It is always a pleasure to have you joining us for our political conversations we hope will help our country and our politicians in making better policy decisions and policy decisions. Too, I'm here with Prof. Manyora. There is an attack on the judiciary, Prof. There's a petition to have CJ Martha Koome to resign. Some say they want the whole Supreme Court to go. Others say the whole justice system is messed up. Is there an attack on the judiciary, or is it a case of wamejiletea msiba?
It's difficult to say. All I know is that our judiciary is in a mess. And there is need to do something about it.
Yeah.
How to approach it, I do not pretend to have the answer. The only time I would have the answer is if I was in charge.
Of the country or of the judiciary?
Of the country. Even of the judiciary.
Because there's this argument that we are seeing this now because of the leadership of Martha Koome. She herself does not understand how to lead the judiciary, how to lead the judges. Even when you talk about Gachagua's case, she wasn't even in the country. She knew this was going to be brought. And there was that whole argument about her deputy chief justice, whether she was the one to give these orders. Is it her leadership?
What people say Martha Koome is lukewarm, she's not qualified, she doesn't have the intellectual wherewithal. I've heard all these kind of things.
Yeah.
But I ask those people, including Grand Mullah, my friend and Harvey, if Martha Koome is as useless as you are saying, what have others before her done? What did Willie Mutunga do? What did Maraga do? What have they done? So that we may judge Martha Koome that harshly.
Maraga is remembered with nullification, Prof.
Well,
of the election.
That is a cowardly thing. Because I follow the judgment. Because I said, and I did a video on it, among my first videos. I said we will be back here in 2022, and we were back there. Because that nullification did not find it necessary to find people to blame and to punish. They were hiding under some provisions. And I know what the Supreme Court is in terms of jurisdiction. That includes self-generated jurisdiction, something, I've forgotten this legal term they use. Original jurisdiction they use. And after the nullification, there was a circus of judges who could not even get to court.
Yeah.
You remember? So what did Maraga do? Forget about it. Wache Mother akule mshahara yake hapo, maliza ende nyumbani. She's just in good company.
Is it a matter of...
Willie Mutunga cannot talk, because Willie Mutunga is the one who made this country be where it is. That election was for nullification. And the country was in a very key moment in its history. It's an opportunity that Willie Mutunga squandered. If Willie Mutunga had nullified that election, Kenya would never have been the same again from that time. Nobody would have been going to court for petitions. People would have run elections knowing if you seal, it won't take you far. He chickened out. So what can Mutunga tell me he did?
But I think it's even bigger than elections.
They did nothing.
Because if we look at Martha Koome's time now, they're talking about Supreme Court being an avenue of every single petition coming their way, including inheritance, every single case is being taken up to the Supreme Court. It's a matter of leadership.
That should have been made clear with the first court, the Mutunga court.
Under the new constitution.
Should have shown the people This will not be a court where you bring anything. We shall handle presidential elections. We shall offer advice, judicial advice in these and these areas. We shall listen to these and petitions and so on and so forth. And even administratively, make work easier when it comes to the Supreme Court. How would the Court of Appeal process a case that might end up at the Supreme Court? But you see, the court goes to the... You see, I'm telling you, there is no judiciary. We don't have a judiciary. You listen to a case in the Court of Appeal, it's as if it is starting afresh. So if you had followed the case keenly like BBI from the High Court, then it goes to you. You feel it's so irritating. It's like the case is being heard afresh.
Okay.
If you listen to a petition, an election petition for governor, when it gets to the Supreme Court, it's like they are starting again. So those are things William Mutunga ought to have put in place.
But now we are here.
You distill an issue so clearly that by the time it goes to the next level of appeal, they are only dealing with that minor aspect, only that alone. And it must be so clear that the Court of Appeal ought to make a decision in even hours. Hours. Not days, hours. The Supreme Court needs just minutes to make a decision.
I'm getting your point. It's not Martha
Koome. Mother kae.
But I'm saying now...
Mother anakula mshahara. Vile wengine wamekuwa wakikula mshahara. Na wengine vile watakuja kukula baada ya Mother. Watakula tu mshahara na ile gari kubwa wanaendeshwa. Na security mzuri. Foreign trips. Accolades wanapata. Wakienda kila mahali wanaheshimiwa. Na watoke waende. Nancy Baraza peke yake ndio alionewa. And I'm not saying because I'm a lawyer.
Lakini alichunana.
Tu alionewa. Hao wengine wamechuna, yeye alichuna mtu mapua. Hao wanatuchuna sisi mpaka mahali mbaya. Hao wanatuchuna kila mahali.
But I'm saying now, time is ripe. We can all agree that time is ripe for change in this country. And that is why maybe Nelson Harvey, Grand Mullah, they're coming and saying she should resign because now everyone is seeing
then who comes in?
What they are calling a system.
I want Harvey and Grand Mullah to tell me, okay, Mother Koome leaves. So who comes there? To do what? I don't want to be like Chunga for what, for who, and blah, blah. But I'm asking, who is this person who will come?
I want to...
Grand Mullah was in the interviews.
Yes.
When we packed our Supreme Court with the people I don't want to talk about. What contribution did he make? When he was challenged about the judge who was removed, was it to New York tonight or something? He said, these are the judges Kenyans gave us. You could have said, you can go for an interview and say none of them qualify. People apply, and during shortlisting we say, hakuna mtu amekuwa, nobody is shortlistable. Why didn't Grand Mullah tell us that these guys cannot make it to the Supreme Court? He should keep quiet. The contribution I want from Harvey and Grand Mullah is how we can push sense into our judiciary. Let's not talk about individuals. Because you remove Mother Koome, another guy will just come there and akule mshahara, bebo na hiyo gari kubwa, na ende kwa residence zile kubwa.
Why don't you want the option of, let's try to remove Mother Koome, let's see who will come in? Why don't you
What does this help? What does it serve? To remove Mother Koome and bring another Mother Koome. William Mutunga was there, he left. Maraga came. Mother Koome has come. There's no difference. Kenyatta was there, Moi came. Kibaki came. There's no difference. They are the same people.
But you see,
unless you want some radical transformation, in which case, let us Kenyans, why can't we create a forum in which you look at what radical transformation do we want for the judiciary? Do you even need the Supreme Court? Maybe not. Why do cases take 20 years? My case of 1996 is still in court. The most recent one of 2019, 2018, hii niligongwa na gari. It's still there. It was decided this year, and somebody reckoned that with all the guilt, 100% liability, and with all the court case sessions I attended, I only deserve 300,000.
After how many years?
I can tell you. So I'm saying we need to address the fundamental problem that is ailing our judiciary. It's not even ailing our judiciary. It's making us not say we have a judiciary. We don't have a judiciary. But So long as we are not making fundamental changes, Grand Mula, Harvey and the rest should shut up. Wache Martha Koome akule mshahara yake, tamu yake isha, aende nyumbani.
Okay. Period.
Period. Because I'm not saying what value will it be to remove Martha Koome and put there somebody else. What value? Who is that person?
You know, when you reflect on Justice Maraga, his advisory on dissolving parliament, you know, he was coming out strong when it came to freedom on social media.
During Maraga's time is when court orders were violated and disobeyed and ignored by the government. What did he do?
Maybe this is what people expect from Martha Koome.
What did he do?
That voice that Maraga had, those advisories.
Maybe Martha Koome is just being realistic. That although in theory we have separation of powers, but the two powers are subservient to the executive.
There's no independence.
A white judge wrote about it in the 60s. Explaining, was it a white judge? Yeah, explaining why people judging independent African countries in matters of judicial should not compare Kenya, for example. That the judges in Kenya should be allowed to bend the lower bit and to defend the executive. Somebody wrote about it. I can't remember who. I was young, but I've read it. Let Harvey say he has read it or he hasn't. That's stupid. It looks stupid. Yeah. But that seems to be what is informing everything. That the executive is far more powerful than it should be. And it extends far more power than it should over parliament and the judiciary. Supposing you got somebody like Manyora and he became the Chief Justice. How long will I last? I can't last 6 months. So long as the ecosystem itself is such that the president is everything. And there are oligarchs and there are these guys, what do you call them? Mafia and everything. Cartels. And we run a cartel system in a country. What will I want Chief Justice do? I can't function. 6 months I'll be kicked out or I'll be shot.
So you agree with?
So really, there's so much fundamental change we need. But that's what you asked.
Philip Kisia, before I even asked what I had, Philip Kisia, now sponsored Azimio executive director, he said, if we're going to remove Martha Koome, or is it the Supreme Court, let's first deal with the executive.
Yes.
Let's first have a president that wants. So you agree with that?
Yes. Who knows his limits?
And
who doesn't see the executive as an extension of the judiciary as an extension of the executive? We have to fix that. We didn't fix it. This so-called wonderful constitution, which I didn't even vote for because I could see it was useless.
You didn't vote for it?
I never voted for this constitution. I wanted it to fail so that we keep moving towards a good constitution. People are so excited. I told them, what are you excited about? The president will still be everything. And you can demonstrate that, including the police. Who hires the police? The president can even stand on a podium and say, I'm the one who sacked the police, and I'm going to bring... So we are wasting our time. Ask your question. Kisha is right.
Minor issues now. Processing, cases taking long, some judges being, evidence of corruption. These are things that the Chief Justice can actually deal with. You expect more from her, don't you think?
Of course I would. I'm not saying Martha Koome inspires confidence. I'm not saying that. Far from that. I'm just saying that we should not be unfair to her. She's just in good company. Even her fellow judges would not be happy if she did what you want her to do. They will be up in arms.
Remove her.
Yeah. So in fact, they are the ones who will sponsor her removal. Let Harvey and Grand Mula, because they are more influential than the average Kenyan, let them try to address the issues that are facing the judiciary in a much more fundamental way. First, and I was with Harvey on our show in which he tried to be a little mischievous and
JKL.
I told him, Harvey, wacha kurukaruka mambo ya huko, wanataka kutoa chiji attorney general sijui nani, baadaye wakaenda kunywa chai wakatoka huko. I told Harvey, there are issues that affect Kenyans in the judiciary. Why do you think cases take long? I'm not a lawyer, but I know there are things we can do as a country immediately, and we deal with the backlog and the delay in our cases. For example, and I said this on JK, I told Ravi, you know, everybody goes before the court, and they must be listened to, because that's what there is. You cannot turn away anybody. But surely, we can crack these cases. We can crack them. You don't just walk to a hospital and go to a consultant. You are clacked through.
Yes.
Eh? There are some people who take things to court, they are outrageous. Completely out of touch with the reality. The clerks can help them. Some people take things to court because they are ignorant. They can be assisted. So that even you can see confusion where a case is being handled as a land case, which means like a civil case, when it's clearly criminal. You know the distinction?
Yes.
If you are saying my land is yours because I forged your document, how can that be a civil case?
So this minor issue.
Yeah. How do we handle it once a litigant has entered the registry? You want to file a case. There are many people who can even be helped. Look here, the way you have filed it, you would need this, you need this, you need this evidence, you need this. Go back and provide and come. Of course, we will guard against people misusing that to turn away people. We create a system. Just like you go to court, to hospital, the triage area, they want to pima temperature, nini. You know, if it's a government hospital, you may not necessarily see a doctor, you can see a clinical officer. And then the clinical officer will say, okay, this, and they can send you to the lab. And with the lab results, you can now go and see the MOH, a doctor. And the doctor can process you for a week or two, and then refer you to a specialist clinic. You see, the courts can operate in more the same way. And you knock sense into the actual operation of the judiciary. You know, there's so much we can do before we zero down on individuals.
Maybe this is what we want the individual who's the leader to actually do.
It would be good to have a good leader, but it would be good for us to be realistic that the process of even selecting that good leader, was Mother Koome the best person? If you ask me, I can give you the name. When Mother Koome went for the interview, it's Murugol who should have been given that thing. To me, my own assessment, you're the best. But we feared, even the way he was answering questions there. It was this an independent-minded judge. And the powers that be cannot be comfortable with him. So why can't Harvey and Grand Mullah create an environment where the interview, first of all, the what do you call it? The ad, when people call for people.
Advertisement.
How come such a sweet job, only 13 people applied? Why don't you ask yourself, how can 13 people, with all these law professors and senior lawyers and senior judges, how come at the point Mother was doing, only 13 people applied? Doesn't that tell you something?
They should list
People know it's a waste of time. Let's clear that so that the best can apply. And then let's have a system where the interview will produce the very best. That's what Harvey should be going for. But to go for Mother Koome is, I think I find it a little, either it's mischievous, there's something they are up to, or they are personal vendetta, or they are playing somebody's game to remove that lady. I don't want to say who people are saying it could be. But they should leave Mother Koome to enjoy her tenure as Chief Justice, earn her salary, enjoy, retire and go home.
I want to wind up. I know my time is up, but if you say there's a game,
Yeah.
to whose advantage would it be?
That's why I didn't want to mention.
And now that you've mentioned that, I'll have to ask you.
I will not mention. It could be a game, but removing Mother Koome will not change anything.
Thanks for tuning into that conversation. Have yourself a lovely rest of your day.